if your house is on fire and your family is in the house, trapped there, and the fire service refuses to come to your aid, what will you do? You will break into your house. What was in that house was democracy. What these honorable members did was to preserve democracy. Otherwise, what we'll be facing today would be a situation where the speaker would have been impeached and there will be chaos all over the country.
How did you know that, Alhaji Mohammed?
Why will the speaker be prevented from entering the National Assembly? I did not see any motley crowd. These members of the House, are they the ones they are referring to as a motley crowd? Two, you have not answered the basic question, and the police have not done so. Why wasn't the speaker allowed access into the chambers while the deputy speaker was allowed? If I believe that democracy is in danger, and interestingly enough, you've forgotten also to enlighten the Nigerian public that a day before this invasion, the police was asking the sergeant at arms to deliver the mess of the House of Representatives to the police. And the sergeant at arms refused, for which he was detained for several hours. Let's ask the Nigerian police, what was their business with asking for the mess on the eve of that incident on a Wednesday? In this case, the people who should be tried for treason are those policemen who caused the mayhem in the National Assembly that day by preventing the lawful occupier.
Some of your members who removed the cordon that was placed.
No, not in the list. Not in the list. You see, the police, I grant them, they have absolute authority to maintain law and order. But they can't do it selectively. They cannot allow the deputy speaker in and prevent the principal person in the House of Representatives from gaining access. They have yet not told us why the speaker was denied access. And we've seen here on television that the speaker was actually denied access.
Could it be?
The police had no hidden agenda. What was their business in denying the speaker access to the House?
Well, for the benefit of those who do not know, a motley, rather motley crowd is, well, a group of people consisting of different people that don't belong in the same order or in the same group. For instance, in this case, members of the National Assembly, we have maybe members of road transport workers in their midst. That is why Mark has always insisted that, look, these are people known to the police people, well, we haven't seen any market woman or a supporter outside the assembly members in that. Well, what's your reaction to what Alhaji Lai Mohammed has said?
First and foremost, Alhaji Lai Mohammed used the wrong analogy. He can't be talking about somebody having access to his house where his children and wife are, and there is a fire incident and all of that.
The fire, he says democracy.
I had him well. I had him well. You know, that what is inside there is democracy. In other words, what he has just done is that he has encouraged self-help. What he is just saying is that if whatever happens, that you can get whatever you want to have through violence. And that's what's just simplicity what he has said. And I'm saying that analogy is even wrong in the first instance, because that place is not the speaker's house. What it is the National Assembly. Do you know how many speakers we have had? I'm sure you have lost count of how many speakers we have had. And again, he was also wrong with this deputy speaker.
The deputy speaker is a member of the PDP.
Yes.
And if he gets easy access,
good,
while the principal officer, the speaker, is outside, what do you interpret? Or also, you're also a politician and a lawyer. Tell us what that would mean to a politician.
Good. You see, he also got it wrong when he said that the deputy speaker was allowed and then the speaker was refused entry. The deputy speaker said he came after the speaker had gotten in. So he was wrong.
You know, Mr.
In other words, the point I also want to make here is that in all circumstances, these other presiding officers did not come with this kind of crowd, including David Mark, the senior president himself, including the deputy speaker. They did not. And that I disagree with whoever said that it is just the normal practice that they first of all go and assemble somewhere and lead the speaker in. It doesn't happen that way.
Can we call that solidarity, knowing full well that his security all have been withdrawn, so you can all come and say, let's give him protection, and they're also members of the House?
Good. If that is the case, then they gave him overprotection. The overprotection that they came with is violence. And like I told you, the man was banging on his car, kept saying, Muje, that's a battle cry. That is not where somebody, that's not happy to do their constitutional responsibility.
When he came out of that car, I'm happy we watched the
What
video.
let's
go.
Let's go. Let's move. It's a battle cry.
A moment here. Let's not
cry against who?
Hold on. Let's not lose
A
the
perceived
argument.
enemy.
Let's not lose the argument. And when he stepped out of his car, what should they have done?
What should
When the speaker stepped out of his car,
what should the police or the people who accompany him have done?
the police, if you were there to check and frisk people, when he finally stepped out of his car, what should they have done?
I'll repeat, for the opt-in time, that is when they should have allowed him in.
And they refused.
They did not. The reason they gave, I'm not putting the police, that they were overwhelmed by the crowd that was following the speaker. The speaker didn't need that crowd.
The crowd of lawmakers. I mean,
No. Okay,
I believe that there is a way. I mean, there is definitely a way. If the police felt, because the gate was locked here, they also have a pedestrian gate. So if at some point the police says, you know what, gentlemen, we will need you to all assemble in a file so we can identify who is who have legitimate. I doubt very strongly.
But would that have been possible? And I threw that question back at you. At that point in time, at that point in time, would that have been possible? The answer is no. I'll give you that the answer, even though I'm the person asking the question. The answer is no. It couldn't have been possible. The reason is that they had already gone violent.
Why didn't they try it first?
They had already, that was why they were receding. Another part that you said you didn't watch or probably watched it is when the lawmakers were hauling something, I didn't know what it was, on the police, and you could notice that the police people were all dodging and all of that. They were assaulting the police people. So this all came in a mix. So you cannot isolate, what the police did as against what the lawmakers did.
I have asked,
yes,
that we much as yes, this is a situation we're analyzing, but we've also asked that, we do not analyze this situation in isolation.
Yes.
Have we always found the police, to always be in the path of right and never been partial in times past before now?
Well, you see, we are only going to be judgmental by way of trying to look at what the police used to be and then use it to judge them in the particular case, in this particular instance. And that we agree in law. You cannot use what somebody had done in previous circumstances to convict him in a particular offense that is being tried. So as much as we do not have a very good image of the police and their way of law enforcement, but what we are now looking at is that given the circumstance, given what happened that particular day, the mindset of the people who, I want to go to Sulai's own analogy of trying to protect the speaker in the absence of police protection, given the mindset of those people who were actually at a war part against the police. And I said, physically they assaulted the police. I mean, you can see it. If you play quite a number of them, you will see where they were throwing certain things at. I don't know whether it was the lawmakers or whoever it was. They were, and the people, men in uniform, our men in uniform, were avoiding, either it was pellets of pure, whatever it was. I didn't notice what it was. But you could see that they were dodging and all of that, and they were assaulting them.
Mr. K, if I asked you a question earlier, do you think the police conducted themselves well? I'm not... Two wrongs don't make a right.
Yes.
But if the police say they were there to identify everyone going, let's just assume that they do not recognize all these members of the House of Assembly. What if they had said, or the National Assembly had said, please show your identity card? Did they ask for their identity cards?
You see,
because all of them have their identity cards.
Now, I told you that I concede to the fact that at the point in time the Senate, the Speaker of the House of Representatives identified himself. They should have allowed him entry. They should have allowed him entry, even if it is from the pedestrian gate. But you see, at that point in time, the police was receding. I do not know why they were receding. I don't know whether they needed to consult or whatever. But having identified himself, but you see, for the rest of the people that we are talking about, lawmakers, let me make this point the opt-in time. If a lawmaker conducts himself in a manner that is outward, almost invariably he comes to the bracket of a thug. And he should be treated as such. He should be prevented.